welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's just dive right in today. We are taking a deeply personal look at the internal journey of going from feeling totally undervalued to unlocking your absolute ultimate self-worth. And eventually, we'll see how you can use that exact energy to literally make history. We're drawing from some incredibly powerful source material today that explores how emotional pain and hardship, well, they can actually be transformed into your absolute greatest asset. So ask yourself, are you just exhausted from constantly having to prove your worth to people? Let's kick things off with a hard truth straight from our sources. If you find yourself repeatedly having to prove your value, well, the person you're proving it to simply isn't capable of understanding it. It's a wildly draining cycle, and breaking it is the absolute first step toward building anything meaningful in your life.
All right, moving into section 1, recognize your true value.
To begin this profound transformation, we really have to look at how we measure our own worth in a world that, quite frankly, often overlooks it entirely. Our sources point out this massive shift in modern dynamics. It's heart versus mind. We've got to recognize that the world today largely operates on logic and convenience, not pure emotion. You just cannot force someone to value you if their mind is only focused on what they can extract or gain from having you around. When you lead with pure vulnerability in a space that's strictly governed by convenience, your true value is just going to get lost in the shuffle.
There is this striking, deeply cultural proverb from our source material that says, "Corpses don't cry, the ones burning them do." It's an intense Hindi metaphor for sure, but man, it is deeply powerful. This idea reminds us that those who hold on to their truth and their purity are not the ones who ultimately suffer the deepest long-term regrets. Actually, the ones inflicting the pain, the ones causing the betrayal, they're the ones who will eventually face their own devastating internal consequences. Your peace, that ultimately remains yours.
Listen, your self-respect is your absolute strongest shield. Never, ever compromise it for some temporary validation from people who don't even see your worth. Rather than mirroring the toxicity of the people who hurt you, the sources emphasize that your greatest revenge is simply moving forward. Show them you've risen way above their negativity. Silence and nonstop self-improvement, they speak volumes louder than anger ever could. That brings us to section 2, turning pain into power. Let's look at how we actually handle the very real pain of betrayal and hardship, and transform it from this crushing weight into pure, unadulterated fuel for your future. As the old wisdom goes, 100 words of advice don't make you as strong as one stumble of experience. It totally reframes failure, right? Wrong paths, wrong people, harsh experiences. They aren't just bad luck. Our sources argue they are absolute necessities. They are the exact forge that shapes your understanding of what is truly right for you. You can't just learn that kind of resilience from a lecture. You literally have to feel the stumble to build the muscle.
And when you do take that stumble, when you face those really dark times, you essentially have 3 options. Option 1, cry and stay sad about your circumstances. Option 2, learn to merely survive and just get by day to day. Or option 3, set a massive goal and make history. The material highlights that only that third option, setting a monumental goal despite the pain, actually leads to a life worth living. The first 2, they just keep you permanently trapped in the past.
But here's the catch. To choose that third option, you have to lighten your load. The one who leaves was never truly yours. Let them go. We seriously have to stop mourning the people who walked away the second things got tough. If they were genuinely meant for your journey, they would have stayed through the silence, the struggles, the whole shebang. Letting go isn't just about moving on. It's about clearing out the mental space you desperately need for your history-making goals.
Okay, on to section 3, break free from limitations.
Now that we've processed the past and cleared out that mental space, it's time to hit the gas. You've probably heard that old cultural idiom advising you to shrink your legs to fit the blanket, which is often expressed in Hindi as jitni chadar ho utne pair pasaro. Basically, lower your expectations to match your current reality. Well, our sources fiercely reject this. To make history, you need the limitless expansion mindset. You need to demand a bigger blanket. Refuse to shrink your ambitions or fold yourself up just to make other people comfortable. Because remember, you're not a limited version. You are a lifetime unlimited version. You've probably been conditioned to think small by people who are living limited, small lives themselves. Do not let their lack of vision become your reality. You are built for infinite expansion. It's like you're a lion that needs to remember it's actually meant to rule the jungle, not just eat scraps. To break these invisible chains, the source material suggests you really only need to ask yourself 2 vital questions. Number 1, why are you living? Like, what is your actual driving purpose? And number 2, Can you even imagine your life without achieving that ultimate purpose? If the thought of missing that goal is completely unbearable to you, well, you've just found the spark that's going to ignite your unlimited potential. Let's dive into Section 4, the focus of an eagle. So finding that purpose is one thing, but achieving it requires adopting the attitude of an eagle, or a Baj. We're talking about maintaining an absolute, unbroken focus on a single target from high above. It completely ignores the wind, the noise, the lesser birds, all of it. You must adopt this exact attitude. Shift your gaze completely away from your temporary pains and all those critics. Lock it entirely onto your ultimate goal, and then just dive fearlessly to seize it. But you might be wondering, what happens when that goal seems totally obscured or impossible to reach? When the fog is thick, don't panic. Just focus on taking the next 5 steps. The path to your grandest goal isn't always going to be perfectly clear. It's so much like walking in dense winter fog, right? You don't need to see the whole road laid out miles ahead of you. You just need the courage to take those next few steps right in front of your face. Taking action is what clears the fog. And that brings us to our final part, Section 5, Become Stubborn, Make History. This is the climax of this explainer. It's the exact moment you decide that mere survival, that's not enough anymore. Undeniable, massive success is your only option. Think about this. You are a deep ocean. Why let pebbles thrown by the world affect you? The world is always going to throw pebbles at you. Mockery, doubt, unhelpful opinions, people actively trying to bring you down. But you have to realize the sheer vastness of your own potential. A tiny pebble skipping across the surface simply cannot disturb the true, profound depths of who you are and what you're building. Achieving this level of massive success really requires a specific toolkit. To build an unbreakable future, you absolutely must remember your worst days to stay grounded. Use them as a mirror to see exactly how far you've come. You have to actively ignore the world's temporary mockery. Fight fiercely for your self-respect. You need to become what the sources brilliantly call a stubborn kite that snaps its limiting strings so it can fly higher. And ultimately, understand that your success is solely your responsibility. Because your success is not just a dream. It is your fundamental right and your responsibility. You must claim absolute ownership of your destiny. No one is coming to save you. Literally, no one is coming to hand you your empire on a silver platter. Lighting up your dark path and breaking through those barriers is entirely 100% in your hands. And hey, if you're sitting there feeling like you've lost way too much time or faced too many painful endings, remember this: every ending is a fresh new beginning. No matter how many times you have failed, been broken, or felt utterly defeated in the past, right now, this exact second is the moment you can pick up the pieces and carve an absolute masterpiece right out of your pain. So stand up, sweat, build your empire, make them watch. It is absolutely time to stop shrinking yourself to fit someone else's tiny blanket. Start sweating for your own vision and become the kind of undeniable, massive success that forces the whole world and every single one of your doubters to simply stand back and pay attention. The only question left for you to answer today is this: how long will you let your past dictate your future? Will you continue carrying around the heavy, completely useless chains of yesterday? Or will you stubbornly rise up today, claim your limitless worth, and write a history they will never, ever forget? The pen is in your hand. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll see you next time.